Hello, today we're going to look at what your twin flame is going through on their journey right now. We do this every week, so you can subscribe and find out every week what your twin flame is going through. My name is Susie Puga. I'm a certified twin flame ascension coach, and you can learn how to work with me in the description if you want more um, personalized help on your twin flame journey. I'm happy to do that with you. So today we're going to get started looking at the Carolyn Miss Archetypes deck, and this will help us get clear on the energy your twin flame is moving through. I will draw 3 cards from this deck to find out where they're going, and you'll notice as we go through the different weeks that some energies kind of come up repeatedly until your twin flame fully works through them. And big hint here, your twin flame shares one consciousness with you. So whatever they are working through, at the core, you are working through the same thing. Now it might manifest differently in your individual lives, right? Like they might be working through it in the workplace with a coworker who's making them unhappy, and you might be working through the same thing, but in your family unit or within yourself, but you're learning the same spiritual lessons. So this is great, not just for getting to know where your twin flame is, but for also kind of reflecting on how they are mirroring you too, and how you are mirroring them. So let's get started. Our first card is the victim card. It literally says victim on it. Our light attribute is to prevent you from letting yourself be victimized or victimizing others. So this is what we're working through to, is being empowered and not letting yourself be a victim. Your twin flame's working on that. And next is our shadow attributes. Our shadow attribute is playing the victim for positive feedback in the form of pity, inability to maintain personal boundaries. Now, many people, because pretty much everyone on earth has some sort of victim pattern that's playing out or being healed to some degree in their life, works through this victim energy. Most people don't consciously say, I'm going to play the victim because I want pity here, right? But what this card is pointing to is that the ego or separation consciousness, whatever you want to call it, perceives like pity or commiserating with others in misery or validation for your victimhood or your helplessness or misery as positive feedback. So your twin flame is working on like busting that cycle, and is being asked to release attachment to kind of commiserating in this victim energy and just being like, oh well, that's how it is, like sucks to suck. And they're being called to actually step into their power here, right? um we talked a little bit about this last week, I believe. I do a couple readings a week, so I believe it was this reading, where your twin flame was kind of looking at healing the relationship with fatherly and authority figures, right? And so this goes really well as a continuation of that energy, right? Like you have to release the idea that you can be victimized by anyone, including someone who is higher up on a social hierarchy than you might be. And so your twin flame is coming to this realization that even though they might be um, socially or professionally at like a quote unquote lower tier, right? Um, that doesn't mean they can be victimized by someone who is quote unquote like higher up, right? In authority. And they're learning how to hold that power, and they're being really called, I can feel, to go to painful places of like attachment to victimhood and let that stuff go. So this is good stuff for your twin flame, and you can reflect on how this is showing up in your life too, in some form. Next one, this card, I believe it came up last week. It might have come up 2 weeks ago too. I'm not sure which one, but we have the Fool. And this is not the Tarot Fool because this is an archetype deck. But this Fool's light attribute, so what we're working towards, is fearlessly revealing emotion, helping people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy, right? Like laughing at the absurdity and hypocrisy of ego, right? And just revealing what is actually there. Okay? Our shadow is using humor to wound rather than liberate. Denial of your emotional truth. And so for me, I think this twin flame of yours that you have is a really funny person, because this Fool card comes out flipping freaking all the time. So I think they like to make jokes. Trouble with jokes, and you will see this, like, I don't know if you watch comedy specials, but you will see this in like almost every comedy special, is people like to take pain or some situation where they've been feeling down or victimized, and laugh at it, but like joke about it in a way that's it's not really indicative of like actual healing having taken place there. It's more of a coping mechanism, right? And coping isn't the same as healing. And so for me, when I look at this Victim and Fool card next to each other, it seems like your twin flame is trying to make light of this victim energy too. So like while he's or she is confronting heavy energy, they're also like, oh, haha, funny, this is so silly, like sucks to suck. um and they're slowly being faced with the truth that this doesn't actually do anything for them, um and maybe even being faced with the truth that less and less people are finding this to be like funny as well, which is breaking that positive feedback that they get from the victimhood attachment, from the victim energy. So, yeah, your twin flame is learning how to divinely use their humor, and rather than kind of perverting that divine humor and using it to commiserate in misery with other people, right? Which is something that's like I am not saying your twin flame is a bad person. This is a pattern that is very, very common on Earth. I think many people, especially younger generations of people, this is like very on brand, that type of humor. But that doesn't have to be the way, and it doesn't actually support your spiritual development and your ascension and your growth, right? To commiserate in misery via humor or whatever else, right? So letting this go. Our next card is Servant. So this is a new card. It hasn't come up in the last few weeks, so this is good. We're moving through a new energy that we're healing, and I love that for your twin flame and for you. The light attribute of Servant is delight in serving others with a free and loving heart. Okay, so that's just giving freely, right? And loving unconditionally. This is service. That is service. And service is liberating to you and to your heart, because you're giving to back to the divine, to God. You're giving back to love itself, right? That is giving. Okay. Now the shadow is using lack of money as an excuse not to move forward in life. So all right, looking at this Victim, Fool, and the shadow of this Servant card, I have to ask, is your twin flame making jokes about not making enough money and being poor? Because a lot of people do that. And let me tell you, the people who do that don't actually end up creating abundance and wealth in their life. And that's not to say like having $1 million is everything in life that you should strive for. There's definitely like a divine and like comfortable place of perfect abundance for everyone, right? Like everyone has a different purpose in life, and so everyone has a different like desire in their heart for abundance. Um, but complaining about poverty or not having enough, and letting yourself be victim to that, and then making jokes about it, um, doesn't actually move your journey forward, right? And so your twin flames in this pattern right now is what I'm picking up on. And they need to stop that because it's not actually accruing um any like positive karma or positive vibes for them. So I've mentioned I'm a coach affiliated with Twin Flames Universe, and the creators of Twin Flames Universe, Jeff and Shalia, have shared, and you can find this in, I believe Yogananda talks about it in Autobiography of a Yogi too. Um, Poverty is not actually in alignment with the spiritual journey, right? Spiritual wealth, okay, should translate into material abundance, okay? And I don't say wealth because abundance looks different for everyone, right? One person's perfect abundance is not the same as another person's perfect abundance. Um, but you should be abundantly cared for. And if you are not, that is a spiritual block. Um, and this is not me or anyone like shaming poverty, right? Because like I think many people are working on this. It's just another block. It's just another illusion of separation to move through. And it's an important one for Earth because Earth is such a physical freaking place, right? Like you have to have money on Earth um, to eat comfortably, to live comfortably, and being uncomfortable due to lack is not divine. And so your twin flame is confronting this reality in some way, right? And once they have confronted them, then they can learn what real service and real giving is, because that's what poverty or a poverty upset is it's an upset with giving, right? And service is giving, right? And when you give divinely, you build, you receive equally, and then you build that abundance too, and it's just really good, and it's really juicy for you. So that is what your twin flame's working on. And now we're going to look at just one card for their whisper of healing, if you will. And they got vibration. So, vibration may seem pretty broad. And I think a lot of cards in the Whispers of Oracle can be a little bit broad in their like initial impression. But what I feel this is pointing to is it's asking, what are you keeping in your vibration, right? Because how you maintain your environment and your mind um, affects your vibration. So, looking at your twin flames reality, um, are they filling their vibration with people who are commiserating with them in the victimhood cycle, or in the poverty cycle, right? Is that what they're doing? Because if so, they are being asked by the universe to stop, and to kind of purify that from their environment and from their social circle and from their life. Um, Similarly, your thoughts about yourself affect your vibration. If your twin flame is constantly thinking to themselves like how much something sucks, or how they don't have enough of this, or I'm not enough of this, or blah blah blah, that affects their vibration. And so they're being asked to change thought patterns here too. And the final thing that's coming up through this card right now is that your twin flame could do with, and maybe you're in contact with your twin flame, so you might be able to suggest this to them, and I don't know, maybe do this as like a little date together or something like that, a little hangout. But I think your twin flame could use some like meditation and like purifying their vibration and clearing their mind through some meditation to uh, just clean out the ick of this like victim energy they're moving through, and really connect with their inner divine self, and so they can actually refine their vibration to something um, loving and a solid foundation to build on. So just looking at what you're keeping in your vibes. Finally, we have a Lover's Oracle card from your twin flames higher self. It's a message for you. It says, the past is now behind you. Release it and embrace new possibilities. A new path is now available for you, or to you, excuse me. Follow it with faith. So it sounds like your twin flame is telling you, hey, this opportunity you have been or you're going to be presented with, just embrace it without being attached to what has happened in the past, and any fears or guilt of what has happened in the past. And to just be faithful. And when you follow your heart, I believe this card is also implying to you, or I mean, and this is a spiritual truth, when you follow your heart, you are leading or walking towards your twin flame, right? So this new thing that's coming up and these new possibilities feel good to you, do that and move forward, and you are supported. Thank you for listening to this reading. I hope you take what resonates, and whatever doesn't, you can just leave for someone else. And if you'd like to work with me one-on-one and heal some of these blocks that have been pointed out in this reading, you can check out the description and book a session with me, and I'd love to help you out. So have a good rest of your week, and I'll see you next time.